Salutations, utopians. The key to leadership is something I want to talk about. People don't care what you have to say until they know how much you care about them. And I remember I was working at this restaurant, grand opening. They had press, they rolled out the best food critics, multi-million dollar group of investors, put in about $7 million worth of money into this restaurant, bar, and market. Perfect location. They spent the necessary money on research, so they knew every age group, job, race, median income, basically, and even what the area's favorite water, beer, wine, soda. They knew everything. They had all the data. You would have thought someone worked for the FBI. But what they didn't have is a pulse with their employees. And there was a lot of back end deals going on, and people just not fixing things the way they needed to be fixed and handle things the way they needed to be handled. One notable thing, one time they hired this world-renowned expert in restaurants as a last-ditch effort, because obviously the restaurant was not doing what it should have been. With all the money they spent, prestigious furniture, world-renowned chefs and great menu, and plenty of media coverage. And I sit down with him one day, and he asked me what are my thoughts, and I said, well, it would help, first of all, just this little thing right here, the difference it made. Maybe if you actually restocked what is actually selling and not taking something that isn't selling and putting it on the shelf of what is selling. In that very little moment, you immediately notice the disconnect. That little note right there was a clear indicator of a disconnect between the employees and the restaurant, and them not treating it like it's their own. I didn't work historically in the stocking part. I was a dishwasher back in the day. But when I seen that happening, that little bit of promotion when they moved me, we're going to you to stock the shelf, I immediately noticed that. Which, more importantly, my mind realized nobody here cares about the restaurant and the restaurant's well-being. Nobody's treating it like it's their own, because there's such a disconnect between the millionaires who started the restaurant and the actual worker bees. And it just goes to show you, for some of you who always are talking about, I want to be rich and I want to be wealthy. Money can't buy you culture. Money can't buy you class. Money can't teach you EQ. There's some things that intangible-wise money can't substitute. Everyone has a struggle is what I'm trying to point out in this little TED talk about leadership. Some of you want to be so rich, but getting money don't talk about the eerie part of the disconnect you have with humans all of a sudden. How hard it is to integrate with the common folk. How now your mind thinks and works differently than the average. These guys couldn't figure out for the life of them. We're spending the money, we got great ideas, we're getting the staff, but there is no interpersonal communication. There is no bond. There's no chemistry. There's no cohesion. Never relish a life that's not yours. You never know what someone else is going through. Love and light. Past was a lesson, future's not here, and the present is your habits. globalutopia.org. Love and support. The same way I love and light y'all. Cheers.